There's an old adage that says you don't know that you're in a golden age until that has passed. And I think that's somewhat where we are with a lot of gold and silver. There's been some big shifts and changes over the last 5 years, especially over the last couple of years. And I don't think that we're ever going to get back to how things were for gold and silver. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and welcome one and all to another Precious Metal Ramble. I think I've been well positioned over these last 6 years of making videos about gold and silver to talk about the fundamental and observable shifts in attitude and markets and the huge growth in the gold and silver world that's happened. A lot of that is really good and I welcome the change. There's been some humongous shifts in coin production and types and huge new sets and proof coins, and it's really great to see, as well as huge growth in the poured silver market with countless new people taking up this hobby and making really successful businesses out of it. But at the same time, there have been huge attitude shifts, and I think that there are more now that stack for different reasons than perhaps I did when I started, or perhaps even you if you're a long and seasoned stacker. And those attitudes are not necessarily, in my opinion, as healthy as they could be. Now, I don't mean this video to call out any particular individuals, groups. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and how you want to spend your time watching videos or buying gold and silver is up to you. But what this video does aim to do is to make you think and make you question some of the things that you might hear out there, to make the best decisions possible for yourself. That's what I've always done. That's the kind of videos I make. I could quite easily fall down the same route as some social media enterprises out there that just bang on about the next $500 silver indicator and XYZ and talk about charts and movements and how great everything is going to be. But I don't. I question things. I go that extra step to really take a perspective look at how the world is, how it's changing, and what is right for me and my circumstances. That's why I do these videos, and that's why I refuse to just say silver's going to $500 an ounce tomorrow, buy it now. Here's my affiliate bonus code. And therein lies the first big issue. Commercialization of silver and silver channels here on YouTube is one of the major reasons why a lot of people still continue to make videos. Now, I get YouTube ad revenue from videos, and that's part of the reason I make videos here on YouTube, but I also just enjoy the creating of videos and products, and it's been very cathartic for me, like making these dice. For those who've already pre-ordered and got onto our website, thank you so much. If you are interested in these as we go throughout the video, there's a link down in the description below with all of the information for the pre-order stage. But for me, it's always been about creating and enjoying the content that I make and sharing my own personal opinions and attitudes towards stacking. But there are a lot of channels out there that have taken this to new levels, and I think it's borderline dangerous. I've talked about social responsibility when it comes to YouTube and silver and gold stacking before, and I'm not going to hark on about it again, but I do think at some point in the future YouTube will change its policies around financial advice giving, and channels even potentially like mine where we sit on the fence even, there are a lot that don't, but I think will be maybe demonetized one day. And it'll be very interesting to see who's still around making videos if demonetization happens, because let me tell you, advertising revenue is a big deal, and you'll be surprised how much channels will be earning. A lot more than you might think as well. So what does that mean for me? I will continue making videos. I don't really care about the ad revenue. It's great if it comes in, but I'm not here just to hark on about how great things are. That's why I've been so critical in my tenure here on YouTube about gold and silver, and why I probably don't have 100,000 subscribers right now. I've probably alienated quite a lot of people in this video alone who are, again, entitled to their opinion that silver is going to go to $500 an ounce, but I'm not in that camp of belief that it will. And I really do think it's a little bit dangerous that you would go all in thinking that is the case. Often people talk about, there's so many different things about scams and scammers out there on just not even gold and silver, everywhere. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. And there are a lot of vulnerable people out there that could get taken advantage of. So that's the thing that I think I hate most about the shift and changes in the gold and silver world out there. It does seem that is the agenda for a lot of people. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But I can't rule the world, unfortunately. But we can at least observe and look critically at a lot of the content that comes out there and see some of the arguments that they make are, yeah, it could happen, but with a pinch of salt, with reality and perspective, perhaps not. And that's how I go about things to make my own decisions for my own stacking. So the next little thing that I think has changed quite significantly is this whole kind of coin world market and the premiums, of course, attached to things. And premiums are definitely a factor right now. They've always been there, premiums have always been there, but for certain coins, of course, in silver, generics, it was exceptionally low and not really a factor. But now we're starting to see, of course, massive premiums on coins. And one of the only reasons, in my opinion, that premiums are quite so high as they are for simple things like Bullion American Eagles is because there are people out there willing to pay massively over the odds for their silver. And I don't necessarily get that for cheap pieces of bullion. Now, for bits of poured silver where there are artisanal bits of work that have gone in and huge additional labour costs, then fine. But for bits of bullion silver, there are surely better ways to spend cash and ways to spend money than putting it in that. And that's what I think is a lot of people have actually shifted to gold for that very reason. And this whole gold versus silver question is one that I don't really get either. There are people who think that you're against the whole silver movement if you buy gold. We're all on the same team. If you buy silver or if you buy gold, you're a stacker. We're there. We're taking money out of the fiat system. We are making our own wealth stay with us. That's the whole point of gold and silver. It's not about us versus them. And this whole conspiracy theory, conspiratorial, that's the word I was looking for, mentality that's out there of us versus the Fed and versus the bank is, I think, growing and grown massively. Now, that's of course got roots within traditional silver and gold stacking. I remember going on a sort of trek holiday when I was very young up in the northwest of America around Seattle and Washington, that whole beautiful part of the world. And I stayed in youth hostels, and I remember meeting and having many an hourly conversation about the state of the world with various different people. And for not being too derogatory, they were pretty much old world hippie types that were quite happy to just take themselves off grid out of the system, and they were harking on about how the dollar was about to collapse any second now. And this was back in 2008. We're now at 2022, and yes, there's been a fundamental change and difference in the world, and there are issues that cannot be ignored, of course. But the idea of it's us versus the Fed and it's us versus them and governments, the conspiratorial nature of it all, it kind of grates on me, to be honest, and I'm not a fan of it. But again, I get that everybody's entitled to their own opinion, so we won't pass too much judgment on that. Yes, it's fine, but at the end of the day, conspiracy theories are this humongous black hole, and they always have been, and they have only been exacerbated by the rise of the internet. And now with the rise of gold and silver as a more kind of social media organized sort of, it's almost like a fun thing now for people. They can go and they can talk all about gold and silver anywhere they want to on the internet, and it's fantastic, and it's all linked to these anti-Fed messages and the dollar collapsing. It's grown, and it's not healthy, in my opinion. It's not healthy. But if it happens, so it happens. I have lots of gold and silver, but it's one of those things. It's us versus them, and I don't really like it. I'm just moaning about a lot of things here. Let's talk about some of the good things. So gold and silver, have shifted significantly in volume. Like, I remember back when I got started and I was buying coins from Europe to feature on YouTube. I'd buy the new releases of the US Eagle or the Maple or the Britannia and things, because these were some of the new coins out there. There were others, and there were some cool releases coming from private mints and the Perth Mint and that, but there weren't very many. But then in sort of 2018, it really took off. There were just hundreds of new products every week almost from private mints around the world. We had the new growth of things like the Germania Mint and various others as well. Just volumes and volumes of high quality and incredible products coming out. And that's great. I love it. For me as a collector and a creator, there is something out there for everyone, and it is great to see. It really is. It's just amazing how much talent there is out there in terms of coin design, poured silver design, everything. It's great to see, and I'm a big fan of that. But that does come, I think, at somewhat of a cost because, sorry to be negative again, but because there are so many choices out there, it is almost a little bit daunting and flooding. There are just so many different things that you can get involved with and collections that you can get started. For me, I've kind of moved away from a lot of those things. You'll see that the fundamental shift on my channel from In Focus Friday, as I call it when I got started, of showing a cool new coin from a random mint around the world, I couldn't keep up. There were too many to choose from. So my stacking now relates more to the raw mint, to be quite honest, and to big chunky silver bars like this that you can get off various social media platforms. So there has been this big shift, massive amounts of new coins out there, which is great to see, and it provides exceptionally great choice for people. But with that choice comes great responsibility, I guess. You've got to choose wisely for what you want and what you're going to get, because there are a lot of good and there's a lot of maybe not so good, and then there's a lot that are just going to not be relevant in a few years' time or even a few months' time. So it does, it makes interesting thinking about how that's all changed. So will we ever get back to kind of how it was? I don't think we will. And I want to end this video, if you're watching to this point, thank you. You're in the Backyard Bullion Rambling Society, and you're probably more likely to be one of these old school viewers, old school people that have watched countless other content creators here on YouTube as well. Community, that's the word I want to finish with. And in fact, I had a very interesting conversation with I'll just tell you, Hi-Ho Silver, a real mentor to me in my early days. Whether he knew it or not, I watched religiously every one of his videos. And he was talking about community and how he's got a lot of products coming out and he's doing great things. He's even made a new 2-ounce round. And he reached out to a number of people to, help him just show these things. And the commercialization of the whole community, I think, hit him quite hard. And he was a little bit despondent about things. But fortunately, we talked about it, and I'm really excited to show off some of the things that he's got going on, and that package is on its way. So when it comes, it'll be exceptional. But I do think there's been this shift in the community, and I don't necessarily think it's been for the best. There's definitely still some really good community members out there that do a lot of real good content work. But there are also a lot that just now are, for want of a better phrase, clickbaiting, and they've moved away from that community feel, and they've just commercialized massively. And I want to make that commitment promise to you all here now. So my Backyard Bullion Ramblers that are watching in the 13th minute of my video, the cool kids club members, I won't go that way. I won't be that clickbaity $500 an ounce, get the views in. I never was, I never am, I never will be, and I'm proud to commit to that right now. And I think that's a rare thing, unfortunately. There are others that will never do it, and I know who they are, and they know who they are. But will you get the shift from some of those that do and didn't in the past? No, they won't. They're earning too much from the ad revenue, too much from sponsorships, and too much from affiliate bonus codes, and it's a bit sad, really. But I guess I'm just being a bit of an old man rambler, an old man complainer, and I do not, again, mean this in any disparaging way towards individuals or groups. It's just more of a kind of collective community shift. And if you are still watching and you like what I've been saying about how things have changed and what we can observe and do and shift and how we can make our own decisions based on logical reasoning and deduction and critical thinking, then let me know down in the comments. It would be great to hear from you, even if you're a Backyard Bullion Rambler and a cool kid club member that's talked many times before. Give me a shout out. I always love it. I always tell Mrs. Backyard Bullion as well. Say hello to her. Anyway, that's enough of a ramble for me. We're into the 15th minute now. That'll do. Thank you one and all for watching. I hope you have a fantastic week ahead. We've got some pretty cool things lined up for Friday and the weekend, so definitely not ones to miss. We'll see you next time, and as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.